Aquí nos encontramos en lo que es la Marcha por la Paz, hecha por los congresistas, invitando a las personas a lo que es la liberación de la paz. Nosotros necesitamos paz, hemos escrito sobre clamores. La asambleísta Yudelka Tapia está encabezando este acto en lo que es la Marcha por la Paz. Podemos observar a la asambleísta de para allá, también a Yudelka Tapia, donde un grupo de personas están hoy marchando lo que es la Marcha por la Paz. En esta marcha los asambleístas están participando, luchando por lo que es la paz. Adriano Espaillat, Yudelka Tapia. Los congresistas están marchando por la paz en lo que tiene que ver esta gran marcha, luchando todos juntos, buscando la paz, compartiendo en lo que es este hermoso encuentro donde han salido personas pidiendo que haya paz, que haya armonía, que haya amor y haya tranquilidad. Eso viene en todo lo que viene la 204 y Prosper, donde va a finalizar, donde las autoridades también unidos todos junto al pueblo están marcando, pidiendo paz.
En la comunidad queremos paz. En la comunidad queremos paz. En la comunidad queremos paz. En la comunidad queremos paz. En la comunidad we want En la comunidad. En la comunidad.
Estamos llevando a cabo lo que es la caminata por la paz, convocado por la asambleísta Yudelka Tapia, al igual que Manny de los Santos, tratando de aportar lo que es la motivación para que haya la paz mundial, donde se acabe la violencia a través del mundo, y se está haciendo un intento para poder llevar ese mensaje de paz.
La marcha.
Marchando por la paz.
Por la paz.
Exactamente, que tanto la necesitamos.
La paz ya 70 años.
De verdad.
La comunidad. La comunidad.
What do we want? Peace. 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 When? Now. When? Now. When? Now. ¿Qué queremos? ¿Cuándo? ¿Qué queremos? ¿Cuándo? ¿Qué queremos? ¿Cuándo? ¿Cuándo?
La comunidad.
los congresistas, marchando por la paz, unidos, en familia. Solamente queremos paz. ¿Qué te parece estar participando en esta actividad?
Bueno, mira, la comunidad no ha respondido, pero estamos aquí presentes y seguimos para adelante. Hola, mi amor.
De eso se trata, de tratar de llevar la paz, llevando a cabo, aunque no haya muchas, lo que tienen que ver las comunidades. Las autoridades están aquí presentes diciendo que sí, que vamos a seguir luchando por la paz.
¿Cómo lo logramos? ¿Qué queremos? ¿Qué queremos? ¿Qué queremos? ¿Cuándo? Unity. How do we get it? Unity. How do we get it? Unity. We pray.
Estamos en lo que tiene que ver la Marcha por la Paz, participando en la comunidad. Por aquí estamos. Ahora sí, yo quisiera que nos cuenten qué es experiencia vivida estar marchando por la paz.
Magnífico acto organizado por los funcionarios electos y la comunidad, donde hace un clamor a toda la humanidad, a todos los residentes, tanto del Bronx como de Manhattan, a luchar por la paz, a detener la violencia que tantas armas inocentes ha desgarrado en los últimos meses. Paz, prosperidad a toda nuestra comunidad.
Eso es lo único que pedimos, paz. Aguilda, ¿qué te parece el estar participando en lo que tiene que ver este evento, marchando por la paz?
Bueno, tú sabes que yo tengo mis hijos aquí en Nueva York y es muy bueno participar por la paz para que saquen la pistola de las calles.
Seguimos marchando, ella como madre, nosotros como aquí, como una comunidad, tratando de llevar ese mensaje que llegue a todo el mundo buscando la paz mundial, no solamente aquí en Estados Unidos, sino a través del mundo. Herencia Hispana, la Chispa Radio Show, para llevarte la información a cabo, no solamente lo que tiene que ver la parte emocionante, también hay partes difíciles y que son necesarios en nuestra comunidad.
Welcome to the Bronx, for the ones that are here for the first time crossing the bridge. Welcome to the Boogie Down Bronx. Welcome to the Boogie Down Bronx. We are here fighting for peace in our community. Can you lower down? Lower it down. Lower it down. Thank you, gracias a todos por estar aquí. Quiero llamar a mi compañero, mi hermano. I want to call my brother, my colleague, Manny de los Santos. We partnered to make this possible today. Nos juntamos para poder hacer esto posible hoy. Manny, ven, acompáñame un momentito, porque Le doy las gracias a todos ustedes. Manny va a trabajar conmigo en todo esto, presentando a cada uno de todos nuestros elected officials that I have really been fighting like us for peace in our communities, to bring the resources that we need. So I'm gonna say a few words, and I'm gonna make sure that I am gonna make sure that we mention, to see if I don't forget anybody. Voy a decir unas cuantas palabras antes de llamar, porque lo que estamos haciendo hoy aquí es historia en nuestros vecindarios. I am gonna say some words because I mean what we're doing today, what we're making happen today, is history in our neighborhoods. Especially we're looking and fighting for peace in our community. We're fighting for unity among all of us, because we know how difficult it is. We have to take ownership of our neighborhoods. And this is what we're gonna declare today. So when I say whose streets, you say our Attorney General, Tish James, for being in the front lines protecting our rights while fighting crimes in our communities. Our congressmen, Adriano Espaillat and Richie Torres, I don't know if he's here already, for their commitment to our BP, our Bronx BP, Vanessa Gibson, and our Manhattan BP, Mark Levine, for the leadership in this fight. Our DAs, Darcy Clark from the Bronx, and our DA from Manhattan, Alvin Bragg, for working closely with our law enforcement to eradicate these crimes. And every assembly member that is here today that collaborated with us to make this happen. And every city council member that is here today collaborating with us too. And our senators that are here, Jose Marco Serrano, I always call him Marco, and our Robert Jackson, that should be around, and also our soon-to-be Natalia Fernandez. Okay. And I want also to thank our faith leaders that are present today. They play an indispensable role in the unity of our communities. The Bronx, I want to thank the Bronx Rising Against Violence, because they were indispensable today for their interventions, their interactions, and vigilance that have prevented crime and saved many lives. Thank you, Brad. You are my brothers and sisters. Thank you, Davey. I want to thank also for bringing not only him into this march today for peace, but bringing the little one that we love so she can learn how we fight. Jumani Williams, our public advocate. And our NYPD, especially our commanding officers in Precinct 46, John Paquet, it should be around. Our Jeremy Chovlin, 5'2", and the Precinct 34, and Neuri Castillo for their collaboration and for always being there and for keeping our communities safe. Thank you. Thank you, all of y'all. Now, gun violence is a national public health epidemic, and it's tearing apart our families and neighborhoods. In the Bronx, we have lost too many Bronxites to the pandemic of gun violence. In Foreign, a neighborhood that we just walk through, there is a 1 in 29 chance to become a victim of a crime. It is the same for High Bridge, just some steps down, and for Tremont, just right beside us, behind us. Our NYPD has done an incredible job in confiscating more than 4,880 guns year to date. That creates a round of applause. And in August, 22 made 4,011 arrests for complaints of major felony crimes. Thank you, NYPD. However, it would be foolish, unfair, and dangerous to believe that law enforcement alone can keep our communities safe. Safe neighborhoods are filled with quality schools, big and small businesses, clean parks, clean air, and everything our families need to prosper. It is our responsibility to protect, to stand together and advocate for the safety and well-being of all people. We must now, more than ever, need to protect and look after each other. Today, we declare that the streets of our neighborhoods belong to us, everyday peaceful residents. Today, we declare as elected officials our commitment to continue bringing the resources needed to our families to raise their children with dignity that translate in safe neighborhoods. Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Ok, yo quiero decir algo en español rápidamente. Y voy a llamar a nuestro congresista para que pueda introducir a nuestro alcalde. La violencia armada es una epidemia nacional de salud pública y está destrozando a nuestras familias y vecindarios. En el Bronx hemos perdido demasiados habitantes de esta epidemia de violencia armada. En Foran, un vecindario que pasamos en unos momentos atrás, hay una probabilidad de 1 en 29 de convertirse en una víctima de un crimen. Es lo mismo que pasa para High Bridge y para Tremont, que están cerca de aquí también. Tengo que decir que nuestra policía ha hecho un trabajo increíble al confiscar más de 4.880 armas en lo que va del año del 2022. Y en agosto solamente realizaron 4.011 arrestos por denuncias por delitos en nuestras comunidades. Sin embargo, sería tonto, injusto y peligroso creer que nuestra policía por sí sola puede mantener seguras a nuestras comunidades. Los vecindarios seguros están llenos de escuelas de calidad, de negocios pequeños y grandes, parques limpios, aire limpio y todo lo que las familias necesitan para prosperar. Es nuestra responsabilidad permanecer unidos y abogar por la seguridad y el bienestar de todas las personas. Ahora debemos más que nunca protegernos y cuidarnos unos a los otros. Hoy declaramos que las calles de nuestros vecindarios nos pertenecen a nosotros. Hoy declaramos como funcionarios electos nuestro compromiso de seguir trayendo los recursos necesarios para que nuestras familias críen a sus hijos con dignidad, que se traduzca esto en barrios seguros. ¿Cuáles calles? ¿Cuáles calles? ¿Cuáles calles? Yo soy Yudelka Tapia, asambleísta del Distrito 86. Gracias a todos por estar aquí. Quiero llamar ahora y voy a darle la oportunidad a Manny para que introduzca al congresista Adriano Espaillat.
Thank you, Yudelka. Our streets are crying. Nuestras calles están llorando. Nuestra comunidad también está llorando. Our community is crying. But this is how we get things done. United, working together as one community. From the Bronx, from Washington Heights, which I bring you greetings, from the motherland, Washington Heights. Anyone from Washington Heights? Thank you. But today is about taking our guns, the guns out of the streets of our kids and our youth. Hoy se trata de retirar las armas de fuego fuera de nuestras calles, fuera de nuestra comunidad, unido bajo una comunidad, bajo un solo lema, y es que estamos unidos más que nunca. Today, we are united as one community, and I want to say something, and I want to make it clear, very clear. We need to protect our men and women in uniform, and we need to work with them. We need to work with our men and women in uniform. Nosotros tenemos que trabajar de mano a mano con las uniformadas del departamento de policía, mano a mano, para que ellos nos protejan a nosotros y sigan protegiendo a nuestra comunidad, a nuestros jóvenes y a nuestra comunidad. We have to work together with the NYPD, with the men and women in uniform, and with our mayor, Eric Adams. And for that, I want to introduce to you a legend in our community, not only in the Boogie Down, but in the motherland, Washington Heights. Our congressman, Adriano Espaillat.
Is the mothership. Mayor, you go to the mothership all the time. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for walking. As has been said, this is a national health crisis. And in many ways, Washington Heights and Highbridge are sister neighborhoods. Families have other family members that live here. Some mothers take their children to be taken care of by their grandmothers on the other side of the bridge. There are businesses here that are also over there. And we are one common community, a community of common interests. A community of common interests. They're simply just divided by a bridge. That's not even a bridge, it's a roadway. The Department of Transportation considers that bridge that we crossed today a roadway. And so we're connected by those streets, those arteries. And we share a culture, we share a way of living, we share aspirations for our kids and our communities. But violence is stopping that. And the common denominator in violence is a weapon, is a gun. And far too many people that shoot each other know each other. The vast majority of crimes, the DA, both DAs, Bragg and Darcel Clark, will tell you that the vast number of homicides that are committed in our street are committed by people that know each other. And so we must stop that. And we stop it at different levels. We stop it in Washington by making sure that we put an assault ban, an assault on a weapons ban, an assault weapons ban, a semi-automatic weapons. We trace guns from their origin to the scene of the crime. We met with ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, Mayor, this week, and they tell us that if we trace the DNA of a weapon, we can go after those 50, 100 people that are perpetrating the homicides. There's 50, 100 that are perpetrating most of the shootings, and we must identify who they are. And yes, I agree with the assembly member. We must work with the police. When a crime happens, you call the police. That's just the way it is. They have the authority to chase the bad guys. And we must work with them. They must understand us, and we must understand them. But if we are to move together as a community to other levels where we must be, we gotta take care of the gun problem. That's the common denominator in these violent crimes. A weapon. A weapon. Just last night, Mayor, there was a shooting on Dykeman Street, just blocks from where we started this march, where the police asked two folks fighting each other, they asked one of them to put the weapon down, and he wouldn't do it. And unfortunately, he's not with us anymore. So we must address this violence. And I think that there's nobody out there, no hay nadie ahí afuera que está haciendo un trabajo más persistente, because it's going to require persistence from us. This is not just about this march. This is good. But this is about every day. And there's nobody out there that's taking this on more seriously than the mayor of the city of New York, el alcalde de la ciudad de Nueva York. He understands this issue. He walked the subways by himself at night in uniform. He was a member of the police department, and he was a Brooklyn borough president when shootings were rampant in Brooklyn. No one understands this issue better than this guy. And you're going to hear stuff, but I place my hopes in that he will work with us. So with that, I introduce you the chief executive of the city of New York, our mayor, Eric Adams.
Thanks so much, Congressman, and I want to really thank Assemblywoman Tapia and Assemblyman De Los Santos for this unprecedented coming together of the major elected officials, not only in the Bronx and Washington Heights, but to have our Attorney General here as well, our public advocate that's here, our state senators, our assembly persons, our council delegation. It just says a lot of how much respect we have for the two of you of bringing us together to embrace this important issue that we are facing. We are going to be meeting in the next few weeks with the district attorneys, with defense attorneys, with prosecutors to go over how do we come together as a team to deal with not only the overproliferation of guns that are on our streets, but the support that they need to get the cases through the courts, as well as how we can be more proactive, because by the time someone picks up a gun, we have already failed them in society. And we must do a better job to cutting off the pathways that are allowing the violence that we see. The congressman is right. The overproliferation of guns in our community. We don't have gun manufacturing plants in New York. They're coming from the southern states. They're making their way here in the hands of our children. Far too many, as the congressman stated, are young people who know each other that are actually harming each other. So there's going to be a real proactive response to this violence, and we are serious about it. Too many young people are losing their lives, and even after the bullet hit the body of the individual, the emotional pathway of that bullet continues to rip apart the anatomy of our community. It brings about fear, it brings about terror, it brings about pain. And our goal is to send a loud and clear message that we want to end the violence in our communities and in our city. The Bronx, Washington Heights, both these communities have witnessed a large number of the violence that we are seeing, and we want to zero down lean into this with our lawmakers and our prosecutors to really address this violence. And it's just a small number of people. We need to be clear on that. There's a small number of people who are repeated offenders of carrying guns and using guns. We have to zero in on them and make sure that they get the assistance they need, make sure that we give them the support they need, but make sure we send a loud message. You're not going to create perpetual violence in our city, in our communities, that is taking the lives of far too many young people. The numbers have increased on a number of young people who are using guns and are the victims of these gun violence. And far too often, it's innocent New Yorkers, innocent children, innocent parents and family members who are on their way to their normal days to carry out what businesses they are having. They're the byproduct of this violence that we're seeing. So I'm all in, I'm with you. I thank both our assembly persons for really bringing us together, and this is one of many. And anyone who states that marches don't matter, that is untrue. Marches matters. Silence is something we can't accept. When you come out together and you march together, you move through the streets together, it brings hope to people knowing that we are in this together. And I want to thank the commanding officer that's here and the police officers that are here. We often look at police officers as this removed entity from our community. No, they live next door to you. They're in your churches. They're in the supermarkets. Their children are in our schools. They are just as concerned. And let me tell you something. It takes a special individual to run towards gun violence and not away from gun violence. It takes a special individual to state, I want to go home to my family, but I'm willing to put my life on the line so that everyone else can go home to their family. And so when we start seeing those shootings, that shooting last night, those officers kept saying, drop the gun, drop the gun, drop the gun. Each one of those officers, they have loved ones at home. They want to go home to their loved ones, and they want to make sure the people in that community that wasn't carrying a gun can go home to their loved ones. So we need to always keep that in mind. When you put on that bulletproof vest, when you hug your wife, you kiss your child, and you get in that car and go and face violence, you too want to go home to your loved ones, just like all of us want to go home to our loved ones. So I thank the men and women who put on a uniform and do the job correctly to protect the people of this city. Thank you, assembly persons, for doing this. We need to continue to do it all over again. Thank you.
You want to make my city safe. That's what you got to do.
Okay. Now, you know, this is possible. Okay, whole streets, whole streets, whole streets. ¿Cuáles calles? ¿Cuáles calles? ¿Cuáles calles? Gracias. Thank you. Thank you. Now I want to. You know, things like these don't happen in the backyard. We have to plan. There are things that we have to put together, and there are many sponsors. There are many sponsors that make sure that this happened today. We didn't do it in our own. Montefiore Hospital was one of our sponsors. Morris Heights Health Center, New Solution Home Care Services, Ethnic Marketing Solutions, Agallas Equities, Manny Tavares, Bronx Community College in front, and Good Shepherd Services, Brian. Okay, now, you know, when a man carry their child, cuando un hombre anda con su niña en un stroller, he's carrying her daughter in a stroller, he is in a rush. So I am going to ask my sister, the Attorney General, Tish James, to let our public advocate speak a little bit before he has to leave. Do you do that with the baby? No. Baby goes first. Yeah, baby goes first. I know that you were going to say yes. I know that you were going to say yes. Of course.
Peace and blessings, love and light, everyone. Can we give it up to our assembly members de los Santos and Tapia, please? Thank you so much for bringing us all together and all of our colleagues. This is all part of democracy, so we're good. A couple of weeks ago, I heard Lee Zeldin come up to the microphone because there was some shootings that happened near his house. I am so thankful that him and his family are doing well. But what I am tired of people dealing with black and brown trauma for their own political purposes. And so if he's watching now, in the words of Usher, watch this. How many people here have been around when a shooting occurred? How many people know someone who's been shot? These communities have been dealing with gun violence and the trauma of gun violence for decades. They have been begging and pleading for assistance. So I am so sorry now that there's someone who's had to deal with what they've had to deal with for decades. But don't use that black and brown trauma to further politics. We need this trauma to be addressed. My office put out a report about a month or two ago on gun violence. And we laid out maps of the communities that are dealing with the most gun violence. And those maps, we call them heat maps. The exact areas that were dealing with the most gun violence had the most COVID deaths. They had the highest housing crisis, the highest homelessness. They had the highest calls for mental health distress. They had the highest rates of chronic absences in their schools. These communities have been dealing with so many issues for such a long time when it comes to gun violence that we have not been addressing. And the gun violence is the byproduct of what these communities have been dealing with. By the way, just yesterday, I've been with the family of Ethan Holder. He was a 19-year-old that was shot and killed on Avenue M 3 minutes after he left his paraprofessional work. A 19-year-old was arrested for his murder. And I was with his family as they did an honor walk because they decided to donate his organs. If you've ever been in an honor walk, they take this person, this hero, to the hospital and their family walks behind them. And I saw the pain in their faces and the pain in his friends' faces because this violence reverberates just past, not all past the person who was hit. What's also not mentioned, just a few weeks ago, a 14-year-old jumped in front of a train. Suicides are up. Violence is up all across this country. This is not unique to New York, but New York can lead on this issue if our political leaders have the courage to do so. And so 2 parts, the guns that are coming into our community have to stop. Our federal officials have a demonic obsession with guns. And every illegal gun was legal at some point. So we have to stop that. But even if the guns are here, our young people don't have to pick it up. And that's where we can do so much effort, so many things to prevent that gun from being picked up in the first place. And lastly, what I want to say is, I understand that our police have a job to do. I want them to do their jobs. We just ask that they do it with transparency and accountability, but it is a job. Our law enforcement roles, our DAs, they have a job to do. But we have to stop asking them to do all of the jobs because they can't stop homelessness, they can't stop mental health, they can't stop the chronic absences. They don't have the ability to do that. But so many other people do. So we have to fund them, we have to structure them, because this is a public health crisis that can be addressed. Black and brown lives are being taken and we can stop them. So this march is important, but what's more important is what's going to happen by the next march. Because we know we're going to lose some lives and we can stop it. I'm begging everyone to come together to stop the senseless violence that's happening. We can do it. We need our leaders to be strong. And I know next up is our Attorney General, who's been working on these issues for such a long time. But let's stop talking about it. Let's be about it. Let's get the funding to these groups. Let's get the funding to our agencies. By the way, none of this is an excuse to shoot up a street or shoot up a block. there has to be accountability for that. But it's immoral to only push the conversation of accountability without changing the things that are causing these people to cause this violence in the first place. Please, I'm begging you and I'm pleading, because those people dying will look like me and the people are mourning look like my mom. Peace and blessings, love and light to everyone.
Okay, now I want to call somebody that has been out there not only protecting our rights, but also fighting against crime too. I know her for a long time, when she was a city council member. I remember her, how she came to the Bronx over and over again every time that we needed her. And I call her my sister because that's what we are. I want to introduce to you our Attorney General of the state of New York, the hardest worker, our Attorney General, Tish James. That's what I call it, Tish, not Letitia.
I want to thank Assembly Member Tapia and Assembly Member de los Santos, and of course Congressmember Espiat, and all of you are here today. And I will defend that individual's right to speak his mind, his First Amendment rights, and I thank him for being here. But I did lose a bullhorn, and I think he may have it. A couple of things, and I'll be brief because we have a number of elected officials. One, I'm glad we marched from Washington Heights to the Bronx, but we all know that bullets know no borders. We are having gun violence is a major issue all across this nation, and it's trending upward. Two, I think it's important that individuals understand that the federal government obviously needs to address gun violence. I'll be traveling to Buffalo this week to meet with the family of those individuals who lost loved ones at the Top supermarket. I've concluded my report with regards to the radicalization of the young man who unfortunately took their lives, and I want to report to those family members. But it's important that individuals understand that that man used an AR-15, and those family members could not identify their loved ones because they were pulverized. AR-15s do not belong on the streets of New York State or anywhere across our nation, and I am urging at least reasonable Republicans and Democrats to come together to ban assault weapons in this country. We also need to be honest about ourselves. We need to talk about bail reform. But you can't talk about bail reform in isolation of all of the issues that we've discussed previously. And so it's important that we all understand that we talk about mental illness, that we talk about a number of other issues, that we talk about post-trial, pre-trial services, that we talk about the need for more probation officers and correction officers, and the need, obviously, for services for individuals and communities that have historically been ignored. We also need to stand up again together against those efforts and dispel those the argument that Democrats and individuals like myself are opposed to addressing the issue of gun violence. As the Attorney General, my office has removed over 3,500 guns off the streets of the state of New York. We have joined with law enforcement in the state of New York to take down criminals, to take down gangs, and to take down individuals who are trafficking in drugs and fentanyl and opioids. In addition to that, as you know, we've taken action against some individuals who are responsible for gun manufacturers and gun dealers who manufacture ghost guns, who are affecting a significant number of individuals. And last but not least, we've got to focus on communities and give them something to believe in. I came to office, as all of you know, when James Davis was assassinated in City Hall by someone with a gun. He shouted, "Stop the violence," and that message is still consistent today. We must stop the violence. We must join with law enforcement officers. We must make sure that individuals come in the middle and that we get things done in the state of New York, in the words of the mayor of the city of New York. I'm committed to marching until such time as we get some results. I will continue to march each and every day, but I have been through my fair share of funerals and marches. But I will continue to march because I do know that the power, my friends, lies in the hands. And to the young people out there who hear this message, please, please, please put down the guns and come to us and let us know what you need. It's really critically important that you not spend your life in a correctional facility, that we join together each and every day to stop the violence. God bless you and thank you.
Thank you, Tish James. And now I'd like to introduce a friend. I've known him since before he became borough president, when he was a district leader and then became a city council member. Ahora ayúdame a introducir el amigo mío, el presidente del condado mío favorito, Mark Levine. Borough President Mark Levine.
Proud to be the borough president of the mothership, as we say. Quiero agradecerle a estos dos grandes líderes, asambleísta Manny de los Santos, un aplauso, señores. Asambleísta Yudelka Tapia. I am thrilled to be here. This is unity. We have the Bronx and Manhattan together today. We even have a couple Brooklynites, including Tish James and Jamani Williams. We have elected officials and activists and members of the clergy. I want to shout out Rabbi David Marcus, who's here from Temple Bethel and Roosevelt Island. Thank you, Rabbi, for marching with us. Y sabemos lo siguiente, cuando haya unidad entre nosotros, no hay nada que no podamos lograr. Podemos hacer esto si nos mantenemos unidos, y hoy se trata de demostrar esa unidad. Bronx y Manhattan somos así. Los enlaces son así de fuerte. No es así, Yudelka. No es así. Y hoy nos estamos enfrentando a un enemigo común, que es la violencia. Todos nos estamos enfrentando a esa horrible violencia. We are together standing up against the epidemic of gun violence, of violence that is tearing our communities apart. Venimos aquí a decir, ya basta, ya basta. Venimos aquí a decir que necesitamos inversiones en nuestros jóvenes. Necesitamos trabajos para nuestros jóvenes. Y sí, apoyamos a los policías que están defendiendo nuestras comunidades. We are here today to thank the men and women in uniform who are defending our communities, who are taking a risk for our communities. We are also saying we need to invest in young people. We need after-school programs. We need job training. We need employment opportunities for the young people so they don't ever have to pick up a gun in the first place. We must also invest in their future. But we have got to stop the flow of guns into the city. The guns that are killing people on the streets of the Bronx, they're not made in the Bronx. There are no gun manufacturers in the Bronx. There's no gun manufacturers in Manhattan. The guns that are killing our young people are being made and sold in Virginia and Georgia and North Carolina and Florida and Ohio. And they're coming up I-95, making it an iron highway. We must stop the flow of guns into our city, and we must remove those guns from our streets. Today is about standing up together to say that we support one another. We stand together, united, the Bronx and Manhattan. Unidos, sabemos que jamás seremos vencidos. Así es, así es. And lastly, I want to say one thing. Alvin Bragg is my friend. Alvin Bragg is an outstanding district attorney. And D.A. Bragg, I support you. Are you still here, D.A. Bragg? There you are. Is D.A. Murray here still here as well? Yeah, you're here too. You are also doing an outstanding job, D.A. Murray. You're also my friend, and I support you. We have two great leaders here. Can we give them both a big round of applause? Thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you. Now, we would like to call all of our elected officials to the stage. Por favor, Senator Robert Jackson is here. Yes. Assembly Member Natalia Fernandez, soon to be Senator. Council Member Pierina Sanchez, DA Darcel Clark, Senator Serrano, DA Alvin Bragg. Anyone else here? Robert Jackson is here. All right.
Okay, Darcel, do your magic that you always do, that you've been doing in this borough since you became our district attorney in the Bronx, the first woman and the first African American to be a district attorney in the state of New York. So I bring you Darcirk Clark.
Thank you so much, Melanie. Thank you, everyone. I want to thank these two outstanding assembly members. Assembly member De Los Santos from over there, the motherland, you said. I don't know about that, but okay. Bronx all the way. All right, Bronx. And of course, my friend, Assembly member Yudelka Tapia, who has been by my side in this fight even before I became DA. She's been fighting for her community. So thank you very much. And to all the elected officials gathered here, and to all of you in the community. I'm not going to be long because you've heard me over and over and over again. We got a real fight on our hands. And I want to thank the men and women in blue who are here, because they also stand with me each and every day as we fight this fight. You know what? Everybody says that they don't like prosecutors, they don't like DAs, they don't like the police until they need us. Well, guess what? You need us, and we need you. We cannot be the only ones in this fight to do this. We have to stop the flow of the guns coming into this community. Look, my office is on 161st Street. There's no gun shops on that block. But you better believe we see shootings time and time again. I believe in this work. I was a judge. I was an assistant DA. I've been the DA here. I'm not new to this. I am true to this. I have been working hard to make sure that we fight this fight, and we cannot do it without you. We marched across that bridge today from the Heights to the Bronx, but there's no borders when it comes to gun violence that we've seen. We have seen bullets to skin over and over and over again in the city, and we have to make it stop. And we're not going to be able to do that unless we're all in this together. And when you see young people in your neighborhood, talk to them. Reason with them. I've been trying to talk to them. I'm holding town halls. I'll talk to any young person I can to say to them, what is it that you need for me to do to get you to put that gun down? What do you need for me to do to make sure that you don't pick that gun up? We are well-resourced city and borough. We can do this, but I can't do it without you. So you take that young person by the hand, talk to them. Let them talk to me. They don't want to talk to me. Speak to members of the clergy. We got the clergy here. We got Bragg here. We can't have a better partner than Bronx Rises Against Gun Violence. That's what we need. That's the solution. It can't be just prosecution, an arrest and prosecution. It has to be prevention, intervention, as well as prosecuting those who we have to hold accountable. Because let's be real, family. This is happening in our communities. When you hear gunshots, I hear them too, okay? And I know people who have been harmed. I've been to too many funerals of people that look like me, that come from the same community. Those victims and the shooters both look the same. And that's about us killing us. And we can do better than that. So I'm glad you are all here today. We are standing here together because silence is the violence. So as we march, we're speaking loud and clear to anybody who wants to listen, and even if you don't want to listen. We're here. Hold us accountable, because we're going to hold you accountable. We can have peace in our streets, and I'm here to be a partner with you to make sure. I also want to mention that our borough president, Vanessa Gibson, who has been a great partner with me in all things public safety as well, could not be here today because she had a tragedy in her family that she had to tend to. So as hard as she works every day, sometimes we got to spend time with our family, and thank God we have family to spend time with. So that's why we're all here. I bring greetings to you from Borough Hall, Vanessa Gibson, and just know that we all love you, we love each other, and we're going to get this work done together. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, our district attorney. I want to call to the podium, please, David Cava, the head of Bragg. Bronx Rising Against Guns Violence, come to the stage. I wanna mention our soon-to-be assembly member for the 80th Assembly District, John Sakaro. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay.
And now, help me welcome from Manhattan, my favorite borough. We've been together this whole week, events after event, one event after event. We don't share the same schedule. Manhattan District Attorney Avon Brad.
I've been following them around all week, and it's been an honor and a privilege. I want to thank both of our assembly member hosts, and we've been spending time together this week because of so many shared values, talking about housing security and our elders and gun safety. It all goes together. If we don't have this infrastructure, we cannot be safe. And I want to also thank District Attorney Clark. As we crossed the bridge, I was thinking about a significant case we did this year, Own Every Dollar, a crew that's based in Washington Heights, but we talked about the violence does not get contained. They did a number of robberies in Manhattan, but also in the Bronx. So when we brought that case, it wasn't like it was a Brooklyn case, a Bronx case, or a Manhattan case. That was just a stop the violence case. And we're doing that every day. In Manhattan, tragically, our gun prosecutions are up 20% of the year because we're trying to meet the moment. We talked a lot about guns not being made here. We've brought a number of cases this year of guns coming from North Carolina. I know our congressman carries the ghost gun bill. Cases coming from ghost gun parts coming from Pennsylvania. So this is an international, nationwide problem, and we got to bring all of our tools, and we're doing that in Manhattan, and I'm honored to work with DA Darcel Clark on that. In addition to all the enforcement work we're doing, we also have to continue to invest. As I look at Bragg and trying to get y'all more of a footprint in Manhattan, I think about one thing we did this year with cases in Manhattan. We brought down a group that was doing tremendous violence, but we looked at the people who we weren't charging. We didn't have evidence to charge them, but we knew if we didn't do something, they were going to end up in the next case in 2 years. So we reached out to our Cure Violence partners in Manhattan, and we said, look, this is not for us. There's no case to bring. This is for you. Invest in them, and we helped them and made that connection. And then when I saw them, a few weeks later, they said, look, this is what we need to be doing every single day. Pairing and partnering together. So I'm hoping to welcome Bragg into Manhattan so you can work with DA Bragg as well as the Bronx. And always looking forward to continuing this alliance to work with Bronx and Manhattan because the violence and the guns know no bounds, nor should we. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. You know that we have to mention the people that make things happen because none of us elected officials do the work. Our staff do the work. So I want to thank my staff that is here and my handwrite Jacqueline Guillermo for all the work that they've been doing for this to make it happen. I want to thank Christopher from Manny's office, and I want to thank David that is around there, and my district leaders and my state committees that are here. But I want to make sure that we mention Nelson Castro, who was able to make this happen, and Steve Santana, and then we're gonna continue with our team. But you guys that are the ones supposed to speak would not allow that a breastfeeding mother stay here when she had to go back to her child, right? So now I am going to present my councilwoman, Pierina Sanchez.
I apologize. The milk is literally, you know what happens. I brag. We brag. I brag. We brag. Guns down. Guns down. We are one. I want to thank the assembly member. We've been through a lot together, right? And we're here today in unity because we were born and raised here. She has 4 children that she raised in this community. All right, I was born and raised right here, 183rd and University. And when things go down on the block, we feel it. Cuando algo pasa en nuestras calles, nosotros lo sentimos. Esto no es teórico. Esto no son ideas. Esto es la realidad para nosotros. This is not theory. This is not theoretical for us. This is the truth. And so we're coming together because we need all and. We need everything faster and better. And what I mean by that is that we got to work with our law enforcement. I'll tell you the short story, and I'm going to hop off because there's a lot of us here. But when I was in labor, we drove down to the hospital. And I got into the I-87 with my husband. He was driving, and I was having contractions. So I'm like, I couldn't have my seatbelt on, right? I'm like, gritando cuando me estaban dando las contracciones en mi parto. but I saw a vehicle abandoned on the side of the road in my contractions. And I called up, I texted my 52nd Precinct Commander, right? That's the relationship that we have. I text Inspector Patke, we talk all the time. And we need that relationship, that strength, because when something happens, when there's a shooting in front of my office, I call them. And then my second call is to Mr. Indio. My second call is to Bragg, to see what is going on. How can we reduce the violence? And then my third call is to all of these partners. How can we get more after-school programming? How are we gonna get more affordable housing in our communities? We need jobs. We need jobs in our community. We need economic development. Mi primera llamada es a la policía. La segunda es para Bragg, para que ellos calmen la violencia. Y la tercera llamada es a todos estos socios que juntos trabajamos para traer los trabajos, la vivienda asequible y los recursos para los jóvenes. Necesitamos todo eso para confrontar a la violencia. So thank you so much for recognizing that, for being a leader in our community, and thank you so much for letting me speak so I can go breastfeed.
Thank you, Pirina. And now please help me welcome Senator from Manhattan, Inwood, Washington Heights, in the Bronx, soon to be Senator Robert Jackson.
Thank you, Manny. And I'm here with my colleague who has more seniority than I do. He's from the Boogie Down Bronx. So let me just say that I'm only going to take 1 minute. First, Yudelka and Manny, thank you for putting this together. We walked from northern Manhattan over here, and together we're in unity to stop gun violence. And I say any type of violence. There's so many people being stabbed to death also. And obviously we know that the cure is to make sure that all of us are working together in order to promote peace, and to also to promote a reflection to come back instead of being aggressive toward your partners and others in life. It's important to do that. So in my senatorial district, we established a gun violence task force in northern Manhattan. We held rallies just like we have here. It works every single day. I reflect back on education. Education is the key to uplift all families. And it doesn't matter where you're from, what language you speak, or the color of your skin. And I say that because my involvement in the campaign for fiscal equity, where I walked 150 miles, yes, it took a long time, but it made a difference of $16 billion for the children of New York City. So education is the key here. But also I want to say that we've done a lot of work up in Albany. And you can't do that up in Albany unless you have two houses working together, the state assembly and the state senate. And you know one thing? We have a supermajority in both houses. And so we need to do a lot more in order to prevent gun violence and also to deal with all of the illegal guns coming up into our city. But it also takes other states and federal government to do the work we have to do. So let me just thank you for pulling us all together. I look forward to working with all of us in order to promote peace in our community. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon all of you.
Okay, I want to acknowledge Rabbi David Marcus for being here. Thank you for coming and walking with us today for peace. I also want to acknowledge Drame, Musa Drame. Where are you? You're gonna do the prayer at the end. Don't go nowhere. Okay, now we're gonna bring my friend for many years, because I am friend of his father for many, many years too. And he is part of my district, my senator, in here in the Boogie Down Bronx, Marco Jose Serrano. That's the way I also say it.
Thank you so much, Assembly Member. I want to thank you for organizing, to Assembly Member De Los Santos and everyone involved for this amazing event. An event like this, it truly speaks for itself. It is bringing people together in activism. Yesterday, District Attorney Darcel Clark had a domestic violence awareness 5K. People may ask, why are these things important? They are important because they bring people together in a very holistic way to channel our energy to the positive things that we need done in our community. And the only way we're going to stop violence in our community is through a truly holistic way of doing it. When I look at this crowd here that you've all put together, this is truly a diverse crowd with all of the different issues accounted for. And I will gladly march with all of you today, tomorrow, any day, so that we can say no more violence. Thank you.
Okay, now we want to call one that is an assembly member, and has been an assembly member doing a wonderful job for all her community and all the Bronx, that was elected our senator now. So starting January 1st, she is going to be called Senator Natalia Fernandez.
Thank you so much. I see Good Shepherd, Bragg, my friends and colleagues, assembly members, Yudelka Tapia and Manny de los Santos, and every single one of you. Thank you for coming out today to again show this neighborhood, show the world and everyone that's going to see it on TV that we are done with the violence. We are tired. We've been hurting. We should not be hurting anymore. And it's been said here today that it takes a little bit of all of us to make sure that we can stop this violence. It takes you to talk to that young person. It takes me to make sure we're pushing good policy and funding good organizations that do the good work. But it also goes back to you to be a part of the movements, be a part of the conversations, and tell us, speak up. What do we need? What do we want? We know that poverty is a reason of crime. We need jobs. We know that our young people are distracted with the glitz and the guns. We need to make sure that they are in after-school programs and doing things that is productive for their lives. So today is not going to end. I thank each and every one of you for walking, marching, speaking, sharing, talking about it. We need to keep talking about it or else it won't change. Thank you to my colleagues for being here. Thank you to the DAs for every single day making sure that our boroughs stay safe. And thank you all for being a part of the message that we're going to continue to send. Thank you.
Okay, no more time. David Cava, please, we need you here to talk and say the great job that Bronx Rising Against Guns Violence do every single day. How many lives you save, how many crime do you interrupt every single day here in our borough. Thank you for all you do, guys. I need that picture. Don't move from there. Let's gonna hear from David Cava.
Thank you, Assembly members. It's a fantastic partnership. Saludos de Bronx a los Heights. If you know anything about the Bronx and you know anything about the Heights, we're connected. All right? De Quisqueya al Bronx. Saludos de la calle. Welcome, greetings from the streets. So when you look at us, we're the ones that are out here late at night, and they're all over there. Anyone wearing this uniform, wearing this logo, over there, Bronx Rise Against Gun Violence, they're out there late night at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, where the money is moving, where the dice are flowing, where the women are dancing, where small arguments can turn into stabbings, beatings, and shootings. And every night, we do dozens and dozens of interruptions and mediations. And yes, I'm talking about mediation interruptions with blue, red, and green, if you know what I mean. Okay, because we all know the colors. All right? But guess what else we do? We're also in the emergency room at St. Barnabas Hospital, where we have an office and a hospital response are leading the way, because when violence happens, where does it land? In the hospitals. We're also up in Jacoby as well, up there doing that work over there. But my message to you today is that we can do this work in such a greater way, meaning that that bridge that we just crossed, that's home. That's the other side. That's where I had my aunt, where I used to be taken care of as a little kid. Like the elected said, that they take me over the bridge and I'm being babysat on that side. I have family on Audubon and 180th, all right? Yo soy dominicano y puertorriqueño, so this is one family, all right? Estamos unidos. So when we walk together, we march together, know that we're going to be there with you. But guess what? When those lights go off, that's when the work begins, all right? It's tonight at 2 a.m. in those hot spots. That's where the work begins. That's where we stop all those shootings that end up in the hospitals, that end up in the cemetery. We work with the families and young people. So for the young people out there, for the families, for the parents, para todos los que me están escuchando, You know a young person, conoce un joven que está envuelto en los riesgos de las calles, that is involved in high-risk activities in the street, please call Bragg. Call us. Okay, we're happy to work with that young person and get them away from those streets and into the right direction because we were them. Somos ustedes. Somos Braggs. Gracias. Paz para todo el mundo.
No, all of you are my brothers. Don't go. I need a picture. So I want guerreras por Yudelka Tapia. Sin ustedes no lo puedo hacer, ¿ok? Así que sepan que guerreras por Yudelka Tapia y guerreros por Yudelka Tapia. Sin ustedes no lo podemos hacer. Así es que gracias a ustedes. Pero quiero llamar antes de terminar y darle las grandísimas gracias a mi hermano Manny de los Santos por esta partnership, por esta colaboración que hicimos juntos para traer a nuestra comunidad junta y poder realmente luchar en contra de esta epidemia de la violencia, trayendo recursos para nuestra comunidad. Pero quiero llamar a Musa Drame para que nos haga la última, ¿cómo se digo? I want to call Musa Drame. He understood me when I said I want the last prayer so we can go home in peace and protected. And I want him to do that. You could say a few words before that, and then you do your prayer. Musa, I really love for you to be here with us fighting crime, because the crime is in every place. Thank you, Musa, for being here with us.
Thank you, my sister. God bless you all. Good afternoon. It so happened that I brought our holy book as a closing prayer. Our holy book. If you receive this book, I want you to go to chapter 1. Chapter 1, verses, early voting. Chapter 1, verses, early voting. My brothers and sisters, where's Natalia Hernandez? Where's Natalia Fernandez?
Natalia.
She left?
Natalia. Natalia.
Where's Natalia?
Natalia.
Natalia.
Natalia, come.
Yeah.
Now I'm serious. I'm very serious. This is the holy book. I'm very serious. We can talk until tomorrow. We can pray until tomorrow. But unless we take action, we're going to continue to march and complain and demonstrate and get nothing. This is the holy book. Take advantage of it. Now, yes, I am in her new district. There are 324,000 people in the district. 324,000. And guess out of that, how many people came in June? 6,500. That is 0.021, not even 1%. We can talk until the moon comes down. But if we do not participate, we get nothing done. America, United States is the best country where your citizenship accounts. Some countries you vote, it doesn't matter. Here, it doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor, black or white. One vote carries the same weight. She will be our next senator, but you got to vote for her. The more you vote for her, the more power she has. If you don't vote, the Republicans who are infesting our communities with guns because they're with NRA, we're going to continue to march. And she will make sure that will not happen. That's why I brought her here, to make sure that we close this march with the Holy Book. We have enough prayer. Let's just take action. This is the Holy Book. God bless you all, and vote for her, Senate District 34. Thank you.